Charles Oliveira has made headlines with a fiery message to the lightweight division, ensuring his words are heard loud and clear. In a recent interview, the former champion didn't hold back, expressing frustration with the lack of willing opponents and calling out those he feels are all talk and no action. According to Oliveira, none of the top contenders agreed to face him in Brazil, except for Rafael Fiziev, the only fighter willing to step up to the challenge. He explained, "They offered me names, but those guys didn't even want the fight. They talk trash from afar, but when I say, 'Come on, I'm here,' they back down. Dan Hooker talks nonsense online, but when called out, he bails." This wasn't just venting, it was a direct challenge to some of the most recognizable names in the division. For Oliveira, the issue is about more than just booking a fight, it's about respect. It's about proving who's truly willing to step inside the octagon and back up their words with action. As a former champion who has battled the toughest competition the UFC has to offer, Oliveira has consistently shown he's ready to face anyone, anywhere. That's why he's especially disappointed to see fighters turning down opportunities, particularly in his home country. Fighting in Brazil isn't just another location for Oliveira, it's his home turf where the roar of the crowd fuels him, like nowhere else. For opponents, it's intimidating. For him, it's a source of pride. By publicly calling out the division, Oliveira is making his stance clear. If you have something to say, prove it in the cage. If you want to be the best, you don't run from fights, you step up, no matter the location, no matter the crowd. And right now, in Oliveira's eyes, too many lightweights are failing to meet that standard. Before we move on to the next story, we'd like to ask for your support. If you're enjoying our coverage, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Chael Sonnen has made a bold claim about what he believes was one of the UFC's biggest mistakes, a decision that may go down as one of the greatest what-ifs in modern MMA history. For years, fans have debated whether the promotion would ever book a rematch between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor. The hype was undeniable, the potential revenue astronomical, yet the fight never materialized. According to Sonnen, the UFC mishandled the situation entirely. To understand his point, we have to rewind to October 2018. McGregor and Khabib met inside the octagon in what was, at the time, the most anticipated grudge match the sport had ever seen. The build-up was intense. Press conferences laced with insults, heightened security, and tension so high that many wondered if the fight would even make it to the cage. When the moment came, Khabib proved his dominance. From the opening bell, he controlled the fight, eventually submitting McGregor in the third round. That night, Khabib didn't just defend his belt, he cemented his legacy as one of the most dominant lightweights in UFC history. Afterward, Khabib defended his title 2 more times before retiring in 2020 with a perfect record of 29-0. McGregor, meanwhile, spent years calling for a rematch, promising he could fix the mistakes of the first fight. But before Khabib's retirement, McGregor fought only once, a quick first-round TKO over Donald Cerrone in January 2020. It was impressive, but as Sonnen pointed out, it wasn't exactly the resume of an immediate title challenger. Speaking on the Wise Nuts podcast, Sonnen shared his theory for why the rematch never happened. He believes the UFC failed to think outside the box and should have considered booking the fight at 170 pounds instead of the standard lightweight limit of 155. Sonnen compared it to the current situation with champion Islam Makhachev, suggesting that repeated weight cuts could shorten the fighter's career. "They just faced this with Islam," Sonnen said. "You can cut Islam's career short like you did Khabib's, or you can let him go up to 170, but he's not going to beat that scale over and over again. It's the hardest part of the sport." It's an intriguing perspective, but even if the rematch had been proposed at welterweight, the question remains, would Khabib have agreed? He never seemed driven by money alone, and having beaten McGregor decisively at UFC 29, he may have felt his job was done. In a lighter moment during the interview, Sonnen and his wife joked about sending their own son to Dagestan for a few years of hard wrestling training. "Have you thought about sending him to Dagestan for 2 or 3 years and just forgetting about him?" Sonnen laughed. His wife replied, "I told him that last week. I said, 'You're getting sent to Dagestan for 2 or 3 years and that's it.'" Their son's response, "I would actually really like that." Who knows, maybe one day we'll see a Sonnen family member training alongside Dagestan's elite, wrestling on the same mats where champions are made. The possibility of Paulo Costa facing Khamzat Chimaev if he gets past Dricus du Plessis has become one of the most talked about potential matchups in MMA. This isn't just idle fan speculation on social media. It's a fight that's been seriously discussed by Gilbert Burns and Renato Moicano, both of whom agree it could be a massive blockbuster for the UFC. The middleweight division is stacked with talent, but somewhat thin on true star power. Few names make casual fans immediately sit up, take notice, and say, I'm buying that pay-per-view. One man who unquestionably has that effect is Paulo Costa, a charismatic knockout artist with a wild and unpredictable personality that translates into big numbers. Then there's Khamzat Chimaev, the undefeated, high-pressure juggernaut who has been tearing through opponents with relentless aggression. The rivalry between Costa and Chimaev isn't new. It traces back a couple of years to a heated altercation that quickly became MMA meme material. Since then, fans have been eager to see them settle the score inside the octagon. That anticipation only grew after Costa's recent return, where he delivered a dominant victory over Ikram Aliskerov, a performance that reminded everyone just how dangerous Borichinha can be. Currently, Costa is rumored to be lined up for a rematch against Israel at a... Nothing is confirmed yet, but if that fight happens and Costa wins, Burns and Moicano believe he becomes the obvious next challenger for the belt. Adding to the intrigue, Costa and Chimaev were actually scheduled to fight once before, but the bout fell apart when Costa withdrew. That unfinished business remains a key part of what makes this potential clash so compelling. Burns highlighted the importance of star power. While fighters like Ikram Aliskerov or Caio Baralho are highly skilled, they simply don't generate the same excitement. Chimaev is a proven pay-per-view draw, but to maximize that, he needs an opponent who can match his presence and energy. Costa, with his trash talk, physicality, and proven ability to sell a fight, checks every box. Moicano was even more direct. If Costa goes out there and beats Adesanya, oh, he's nasty, bro. If he wins convincingly and gets a knockout, he's fighting for the title for sure. However, Moicano also offered a cautionary note. Costa must stay active. Historically, he's had long gaps between fights, and momentum is everything in the UFC. Still, if both men win their next outings, the stage would be set for an explosive collision of personalities, styles, and egos. Chimaev's relentless forward pressure against Costa's brute force and dangerous counterstriking would be a can't-miss spectacle. Add in years of trash talk and tension, and you have all the ingredients for one of the biggest middleweight showdowns in recent UFC history. The MMA community is once again buzzing, and not in a flattering way, after new training footage of Conor McGregor surfaced online. This morning, a short clip appeared on social media showing McGregor working the pads, and the reaction was swift and unforgiving. In the video, McGregor appeared sluggish. His hands weren't snapping back to his chin, his punches lacked sharpness, and his rhythm seemed inconsistent. This wasn't the lightning-fast precision striker fans remembered from his featherweight and lightweight title runs. Instead, it was a slower, bulkier version of the former champion. In the ruthless world of MMA Twitter, that was all it took for the roast session to begin. Comments poured in almost instantly. One fan joked, "The year is 2032. A video of Conor McGregor hitting pads is posted. He still hasn't fought since 2021, but claims he'll be fighting at UFC 400. Another quipped, "We've been getting pad work videos for nearly 5 years. Just sign a fight contract already or stop teasing us." Some went further, suggesting McGregor would be knocked out by any ranked fighter right now, noting he appeared 15 to 25 pounds heavier than his fighting weight, more bulk than speed. A few even remarked that the only thing moving quickly in the video was his coach's patience. Not all reactions were negative. A handful of optimistic fans argued that with consistent training and full commitment ahead of his rumored return at the Sphere in Las Vegas, McGregor could still turn back the clock. They reminded critics that elite timing and accuracy, McGregor's trademarks, don't vanish overnight. Still, for many, the slow pace was too glaring to ignore. Some attributed it to years of enjoying the high life rather than grinding in the gym. McGregor has been seen more often on yachts, traveling, and partying than in intense sparring sessions. Others speculated that the added muscle mass came from heavy weight training and perhaps other forms of supplementation, which might explain both his size and reduced hand speed. One comment, however, went viral above all others. "Bro's hitting the pads like he's buffering on bad Wi-Fi." It spread rapidly across social media, often paired with loading screen GIFs and spinning wheel memes. The truth is, no matter how much criticism he faces, McGregor remains one of MMA's biggest draws. He could post a video tying his shoelaces and still make headlines. But this latest clip has reignited the debate. Has the sport passed him by? Or is McGregor simply biding his time before reminding the world why he became the notorious in the first place? Khamzat Chimaev is making headlines for a reason, far removed from his usual in-cage dominance. This time, it's personal. The construction of an MMA gym in his hometown. One of the sport's fastest rising stars and most polarizing figures. Chimaev has earned significant paychecks over the past few years, yet he hasn't forgotten his roots. Born in the small village of Gurdiyort, Chechnya in 1994, Chimaev's story is well known to fight fans. At the age of 13, he moved with his family to Sweden in search of better opportunities. Carrying with him the grit and toughness of his early years, wrestling was his first passion, the foundation upon which he would eventually build his MMA career. He has often spoken about training in humble, makeshift conditions as a child. No high-end facilities, No expensive gear, just determination and an unshakable work ethic. Fast forward to today, and Chimaev is preparing for the biggest fight of his career, a middleweight title showdown with champion Dricus du Plessis at UFC 319 on August 16th. But even in the midst of an intense training camp, he is dedicating time, effort, and money to give back to his community. During a UFC Countdown episode, cameras followed him through the construction site of a brand new martial arts facility in his village. Walking through the unfinished building, Chimaev spoke with pride about his vision. "Now it's my time to give back. That's why I'm building a gym. I need good people in my village, strong people. This is my work, I have to do the best for them." Interestingly, the gym will not feature an MMA cage, at least not yet. Chimaev's plan is to start young athletes with a wrestling foundation before introducing other disciplines. First, they have to become wrestlers, he explained. Then, after 15 years, 20 years, I don't know, they'll choose what they want to do. It's not a gym for me, I'm building it for the kids. In an interview with ESPN, Chimaev elaborated on how this facility could change lives for local youth. He recalled his own struggles growing up, having to travel to another village just to find a place to train, because nothing existed nearby. If somebody becomes a champ or a good fighter, makes money, and helps his people, I would be happy, he said with a smile. It's a rare glimpse of the softer side of a fighter known for his relentless aggression inside the octagon. Love him or hate him, Chimaev's project is more than bricks and mats. It's a declaration that success means nothing unless you lift others up with you. Paddy Pimblett has given fans a fresh update on a potential showdown with Ilia Topuria, a fight that has quickly become one of the most talked about possible matchups in MMA. Pimblett is on the verge of a title shot, and with the new champion already calling his name, the hype is building fast. The main obstacle, UFC matchmakers, who may decide that a higher-ranked contender in the stacked lightweight division deserves the shot first. Currently, names like Arman Tsarukyan and Justin Gaethje are firmly in the conversation. However, here's the twist. Topuria has made it crystal clear that he has zero interest in fighting Tsarukyan. In fact, the champion has gone as far as saying he would rather vacate his belt than defend it against him. That statement has only fueled speculation that Pimblett could skip the queue if the UFC sees the matchup as too good to pass up. Pimblett's rise has been nothing short of remarkable. From his UFC debut to his rapid climb into the top 10, he has built a loyal fan base that stretches far beyond the UK. His energy, charisma, and polarizing personality have made him a global draw, and it's no surprise so many want to see Hemface Topuria. The fight sells itself. In a recent YouTube video, Pimblett addressed the constant buzz surrounding the matchup. All I kept being asked was, who are you fighting? When are you fighting, Ilia? I have no idea, he admitted. Hopefully it's going to be me versus the chorizo next. I think that's what all the Americans want. But I understand that I'm ranked number 9, or something, so other people are probably more deserving. But Posh Boy, Arman Tsarukyan, definitely isn't. It was classic Paddy, mixing honesty with a touch of trash talk to keep his rivals on their toes. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying he knows how to keep his name in the headlines. The million-dollar question is this: will we see Pimblett versus Topuria before the year ends, or will the UFC take a different route? The answer could depend on timing, injuries, and, of course, pay-per-view math. One thing is certain. Right now, the UFC is spoiled for choice. The lightweight division is stacked. The middleweight division has fresh matchups brewing, and the welterweight division is heating up as well. No matter how the matchmakers decide, the next year could deliver some of the most exciting fights the sport has seen in years. The MMA community is once again buzzing, and not in a flattering way, after new training footage of Conor McGregor surfaced online. This morning, a short clip appeared on social media showing McGregor working the pads, and the reaction was swift and unforgiving. In the video, McGregor appeared sluggish. His hands weren't snapping back to his chin, his punches lacked sharpness, and his rhythm seemed inconsistent. This wasn't the lightning-fast precision striker fans remembered from his featherweight and lightweight title runs. Instead, it was a slower, bulkier version of the former champion. In the ruthless world of MMA Twitter, that was all it took for the roast session to begin. Comments poured in almost instantly. One fan joked, "The year is 2032. A video of Conor McGregor hitting pads is posted. He still hasn't fought since 2021, but claims he'll be fighting at UFC 400. Another quipped, "We've been getting pad work videos for nearly 5 years. Just sign a fight contract already or stop teasing us." Some went further, suggesting McGregor would be knocked out by any ranked fighter right now. noting he appeared 15 to 25 pounds heavier than his fighting weight, more bulk than speed. A few even remarked that the only thing moving quickly in the video was his coach's patience. Not all reactions were negative. A handful of optimistic fans argued that with consistent training and full commitment ahead of his rumored return at the Sphere in Las Vegas, McGregor could still turn back the clock. They reminded critics that elite timing and accuracy, McGregor's trademarks, don't vanish overnight. Still, for many, the slow pace was too glaring to ignore. Some attributed it to years of enjoying the high life rather than grinding in the gym. McGregor has been seen more often on yachts, traveling, and partying than in intense sparring sessions. Others speculated that the added muscle mass came from heavy weight training and perhaps other forms of supplementation, which might explain both his size and reduced hand speed. One comment, however, went viral above all others. "Bro's hitting the pads like he's buffering on bad Wi-Fi." It spread rapidly across social media, often paired with loading screen GIFs and spinning wheel memes. The truth is, no matter how much criticism he faces, McGregor remains one of MMA's biggest draws. He could post a video tying his shoelaces and still make headlines. But this latest clip has